Hey guys, bit of a different video for you today. Um, I was out on my good old faithful Honda TRX 350, or in America they're known as Honda Rancher. It's an '06 model, and we had some snow here this winter. I was out playing and I managed to bust a drive shaft.
I'm glad you know that. Oh.
I'm running big 26-inch executioners all round, and they put a lot of force on the drive shafts, and this old girl has mega miles and hours on her, and the drive shaft had enough. It had been running a while with a crack in the boot, and it managed to fill up with a lot of mud and grit and stuff. I just couldn't get the time to fix the boot, and unfortunately it spat the balls out of the CV joint, and popped the end of the shaft out, so I lost the balls. So I managed to track a new one down, so it's on the way. But yeah, as I'm doing replacing this drive shaft, I thought I'd do a little video. I bought a WARN-2-4-2 disconnect drive shaft for this bike. I don't know if you guys know, I'm sure if you're from the ATV world you'll be very familiar with this range of Hondas. Came out of the factory with permanent four-wheel drive, which made them handle, if you're riding it sporty, trying to ride it fast, it made it quite a handful, a bit dangerous. It had too much grip, and instead of oversteering it would tuck the front end in, and it was quite tippy. So not to mention wear and tear in the transmission, the front diffs. Permanent four-wheel drive was a bit of a bollocks, to put it plainly. So one of the most awesome kits ever released was by WARN. Very simple little two-wheel drive disconnector. You just simply push that button, knob in, and that's her in four-wheel drive. Simply pull it out for two-wheel drive. This absolutely completely transformed the handling of the quad bike. Made it super stable at high speed turning, and you could drift and mess about and slide, and just much nicer and safer. Also, if you're doing extremely steep downhill descents and permanent four-wheel drive, it run the risk of putting you over the bars and going tumbling forwards down the hill, where now you can put it two-wheel drive and simply drag the back wheels and safely descend very steep hills now. So overall, very safe, worthwhile upgrade. So the video today will be a look at my 242 disconnect, which has been in for over 10 years and is becoming a little bit sticky on engagement and disengagement, i.e. when I engage it, I have to put the bike in forward gear and then into reverse and then forward again. I'm assuming it's either because in there is a little plugged up with mud, or the cable itself is a little plugged up with mud. So I'm going to remove it, disassemble it, and thoroughly clean it out. Very simple unit. Simply replaces the drive shaft that goes from the engine to the front differential, and inside that little housing is simply a sliding dog clutch engagement device. You can see where the cable enters it on the left hand side. That cable simply activates a little selector lever that slides two halves of the drive shaft together to give a positive lock. So we're going to be taking this out, disassembling it and cleaning it up. Without a doubt, the best upgrade I ever put on my little Rancher. As I say, just makes it safe and fun to ride. as to compared to permanent four-wheel drive, which was borderline dangerous when ridden too fast. So yeah, drive shafts out. I'm just going to take the top wishbone out here, swing it out of the way, undo the differential housing bolts. That should hopefully allow it to slide far enough forwards for the drive shaft to come out of the splines. So we'll get on with that. Okay, so finally got the shaft slid out of there. Very difficult. You have to make sure you wedge the diff full forwards, right up against the frame. You can see where this rear lug scraped past. You have to make sure and get it slid up behind that and fully forwards. And you remove this little bracket here from the front frame, and that lets the diff slide full forwards. And then in the rear coupling, there's actually a spring inside it, so you have to push this fully against the spring to allow the male to come out of the female coupling on this end and eventually wrestle it out. Not a particularly easy job. I tried to screw the cable out of the rear. It wouldn't release from the mechanism inside, so I'm going to leave it attached to the cable and unscrew the Allen keys from this end here, and that should separate the two halves and allow me to get in there to check it out, look at the condition and repack with grease. So we'll screw these off and have another look in a minute. So yeah, got the two halves pulled apart. I can see one of the male gears in here, which appears to be in lovely condition, and the stub end, which goes into a needle roller bearing, all in great condition. You see the tapered edge on the end of the gears, which aids engagement of the sliding collar, which locks the two halves of the shaft together. A lot of cruddy grease in here, which I'll clean out. I'll put some light oil in to lubricate this bearing here. The seal appears to be dry and in good condition, so hopefully that's okay. This is the sliding collar. The groove is where the little selector forks enter, and that slides the gear in and out of engagement, connecting this gear to that gear, locking the two halves together. It slides back onto one, disengaging the other half of the shaft, giving you two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. So yeah, the groove appears to be good condition, no discernible wear. So again, we'll clean all the old cruddy grease off this, put nice fresh grease on. Have a look at the little selector forks. They appear to be in good condition. Little spring again, the grease is just dry, old, dry and cruddy. You can see how the selector fork slides the sliding collar. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. So I couldn't get the cable out of the rear because it is attached. The end of it must be permanently connected to this selector. So don't try to unscrew here like I did. You're wasting your time. So that's how that works. So I'll just put that sliding collar back on. So that's the sliding collar reinstalled, and as you can see, this is the four-wheel drive position where this half of the gear would now be engaged into this recess. So that recess, this female recess here, is where this male gear would be. So, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive. So what's quite important whenever you're adjusting your cable is you want to make sure that when it's released, that it fully extends, because what you don't want is a partial engagement of four-wheel drive. The splines will only be carrying the load on the very tip, and you could end up stripping off the end of the splines. If you get it back a little bit more, you could strip that off, and eventually you'll be left with no splines. So you want to make sure your cable adjustment is left so that free play leaves it with maximum spline overlap. So that's a quick look at the internals of the 242, and time now to give it a degrease and a thorough clean, and then some fresh new grease inside, and put it back together, as it's in pretty much perfect condition. Very, very impressive. This unit is at least 10 years old and has had a lot of heavy use with big tires, and yeah, it's in perfect condition. So highly recommended upgrade to this bike. Highly recommended. Very strong, very reliable, very simple, sturdy unit. Absolutely over the moon with its performance so far. So yeah, let's get it cleaned and get some fresh grease in there. Okay, so that's everything disassembled, cleaned and packed with lovely fresh grease, and it is operating silky smooth with the smallest amount of force exerted. Everything's lubed up and sliding beautifully, and we have this half absolutely packed with fresh light grease. Keep all the bearings good, and all the sliding surfaces and splines well lubricated. So now we'll just bolt it back together and start the reassembly process. So yeah, after a lot of cursing, that's it, slid back into place. It's quite a battle to fight with the spring that is located in this coupling here. You have to force it back in against that spring quite hard. Then there's the joy of trying to get these rubber boots onto their groove as well, especially when they're covered in oil and they're slippy. So have to fight with them and get them slipped on. And then the last little guy I have to put on is this here, which is a little tab that bolts onto the body and stops the body rotating, because the body is mounted on 2 bearings. You need a little tab just to stop this rocking backwards and forwards as you select forwards and reverse. Unfortunately, mine has been moving too much and it's broken the outer of the cable, so we'll have to do something about that later on at a later date. But yeah, we just bolt this up and hopefully stop that rotating, and she'll be good for another 10 years. So yeah, just put the final rubber boots on, and I might pop some gear oil into my front differential while I've got easy access, and that should be her. So yeah, I'll check back in a bit. So that's the rubbers all correctly seated to stop any crud getting in, and I'm just going to zip tie this off, because it's only to stop the friction of the seals rotating in the body, so that's more than adequate to stop it turning. Tighten up the bolts that hold the diff in, and it'll be time to put the A-arm back on, put the nice new CV joint back in, and should be good to go. So yeah, let's get to it. I'll tighten the diff up and put the CV joint back in. So that's it, guys. Hold on. Brakes adjusted. Nice new CV joint. CV shaft, constant velocity shaft fitted. Brakes adjusted up, and everything tightened. Inner guards replaced. Everything ready to rock. So I've got my new Duro power grips on, and you can see my old Kenda executioners on the left and the new Duro power grip on the right. I'm very excited about trying out these bad boys and see how they go. I've loved the Kenda executioners. They have been an absolutely awesome tire. They wear very well, and still lots of life left in them yet. They're very mud biased and good wet, soft, sticky conditions. Awesome climbing tire. The only place they let down a little bit is on side hills. Very firm material, hard pack, gravel, rock, and slippy rock. Lets them down a little bit, but of course you can't have it every way. But I'm hoping these Duro power grips should be pretty close. They look like they should have awesome side grip, which I've been lacking massively, and plenty of mud traction also. So I'm very keen to try these out and see how they go. So I'll probably do a video, a little review on them, and compare them to the executioners at another date. But apart from a little oil change, filter change, that's pretty much a wrap, guys. So appreciate you tuning in. See this little video, something just a little bit different from the usual engineering and the quads models and things. So yeah, if you enjoyed this little bit of messing around with the quad, give me a thumbs up. Tell me what you think of the old Rancher, if you're a fan of them, if you think my bike's pretty cool. But yeah, I know it's small and it's pretty old now, but I love it because it's light and I can take it some crazy places and not have to worry about destroying a 10 grand quad. This little bike, I swear it floats on mud, where my friends on big 700-800cc quads, they just sink, and then you need basically an excavator or a massive winch to get them out. This little guy just floats. So yeah, if you like the Honda and you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, drop me a comment, tell me about your 242 if you recommend it. Any other upgrades? I'd love to put a big bore in this old girl. A little bit more power is all it's lacking. Any other awesome upgrades? Tell me what you think in the comments. So yeah, guys, once again, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. And if you want to join me, see what the next videos, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and come along for the fun. Never know what my next video is going to be. As I said, lots of variety on my channel. Hopefully be a tire review soon, maybe a model, excavator model upload. Could be something to do with tractors or farming, or big diesel engines or excavators or welding, who knows. But if you want to find out, hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate you tuning in, guys, and it's because of you I'll keep trying to make these videos. Till the next time, guys, stay safe. Over and out.